It's just been the same thing with Amanda, with my daughter, you know, trying to find a balance there, and then realizing that there really is not a balance there. And so the thing that when I'm clearest in my mind about it is when I allow her to be without my doing it, you know. And so for me, the thing that has helped more than anything is getting her in touch with her own guidance, because by my not trying to be the guide, but allowing her to have her own guidance, and you all know the profundity that sometimes comes out of her, because she's allowed to just be who she is without my strong-arming and saying you should be this way or should be that way, or even when it comes to school or anything, because I've actually gone in and talked with teachers who have said, you know, we have a real problem here, and I would tell them, you know, Amanda's not feeling guided to do that work. You know, she's not feeling guided to do that, and I stand behind how she feels, and it does not go over well at all with school. But the thing is that when you actually start explaining to them why, they can't say anything, because she really is on her own path, and I'm there to house her for now and make sure she has food in her stomach, because she's so little. But really, she's on her own, spiritually. She's on her own, you know. And I had to learn that the hard way through many battles that I had with her, with school, with what she feels her function and purpose is, when she feels joy and happiness. Sometimes that doesn't shore up with, you know, some of the things that people want to push on her. And it didn't work for me. I don't know what makes me think it's going to work for her, trying to mold into whatever they... So when her teachers say stuff to me about, you know, we've got a problem here, she's falling behind in this, she's not going to pass, then I say, then that's God's will. That's God's will for her. If that's what happens, that's God's will for her. She's in charge of what she feels guided to do, and I really am there to support her. So when she gets an F in school, it goes on the refrigerator the same as an A goes on the refrigerator. And she knows that she'll even say, my mommy says grades don't define me, and it's true. You know, grades do not define her. She's way beyond that. So that's a tough thing for a parent to hear, because it definitely, even in a group like this, I can see the shrieks on people's faces when you say that. But this is the way that I'm being guided, is the hands-off approach. And if any of you know her, you see the results of that. It's beautiful. You know, she's a little butterfly, and she's always happy. She never complains. She fits in anywhere and does anything. So I believe that that's our way of allowing her to just be who she is. So David's got some great things on parenting and spirituality, which, you know, I'm sure reflect the same kind of, you know, allowing them, knowing that the Holy Spirit has got their back. In fact, you told me that years ago, when I was so scared about who's going to take care of her and all this stuff, and you said, you know, Donna, you're not in charge. The Holy Spirit is in charge. And that was a shock when I first heard that. But then I started living from that the way he told me, and the results were miraculous.
Yeah, I think it's beautiful too, because you can even look at this metaphysically. That helps with this, is that if spirit is no concept, you know how we talk about releasing the conceptual mind and getting into the actual experience of the present moment and the living self. If spirit is no concept, and this world is simply filled with concepts, it's all figments of imagination, just make-believe of concepts. Let's take a concept like mother or father in this world. It's what I call, it's an ego ideal. So the ego doesn't care. As long as you believe in the concept, it doesn't really care whether you play it out as the worst mother or father, the worst mother you can be, or you try to be the perfect mother and be the best mother or father. You know, it is happy for you to play on its field, in its range, because it's going to use the guilt trap. I mean, how good is good enough? How good is a good enough mother or father? The ego will always use that construct as a hook to make you feel bad. In fact, over the years, I've worked with many people, like with Donna and another friend of mine, Lisa. She went from, you know, feeling like she was the worst mother on the planet, like an abandoning mother. She wouldn't bathe her son, she wouldn't clothe him, she just left her husband just take him away and do whatever he wanted. She felt like the worst kind of an abandoning, rejecting mother. She just was depressed, clinically depressed, and on drugs and overweight and this and this. And then later on, when she seemed to get her act together, and she became a CEO of a company, she used to give lots of money, she tried to spoil the same children that she felt that she had abandoned and rejected. She tried to spoil them, smother them, to make up for the love that she didn't give them. And of course the ego was just like a spider sitting back in the web going, got you both ways. Oh, I really got you with that one. Oh, now I've got you. You're trying to be super mom to make up for all the guilt, and you're getting worn out and stressed. Oh, it's perfect. The ego likes both of those ideals. You know, terrible, worst mom and super mom, the ego, and everything in between. The moderate mom, okay, that's good, you're stuck there. You're a moderate mom, just don't question that. Just hang in there being moderate mom. And so Lisa basically started to talk to me, we started to go deeper into these ideas. And she had 2 teenagers at the time, and after she spent some time with me, like with Donna and I talking, she went home and she told the teenagers, she said, well, I think I'm going to have to make some changes here because you know, I realize now I've been doing a lot of repression, denial, people-pleasing. I've got a lot of guilt behind my decisions as a mother, so we're going to have to make some major changes here. She said, well, first of all, I'm always picking up after you your clothes every day. I have to pick up. It's a big job to pick up for the whole house for these 2 teenagers. She said, so actually you're going to have to pick up your own clothes from now on. They just sat there and looked at her, and she said, and I'm always cooking you all these meals and cooking, you know, you're going to have to, you know, make your own sandwiches and cook your own meals. Sometimes I'll cook for you when I feel inspired, because I love to cook, but I'm not going to cook every meal and wait on you. She says, I feel like I've been like a slave. Like when they were younger, she felt like she was the abandoning mother. Now she was being super mom and doing everything for them. And she just told them, I can't do this for you anymore. It's wearing me out. David has told me I have like a divine calling, and I don't even have time to read the course or pray or meditate because I'm too busy picking up clothes and cooking meals. I can't even get into my spirituality. So she explained it all to him very well. And then the teenagers said, no, that's not going to happen. You're the mom, you're the teenagers. You've got your role. We don't care what David said. You know, status quo. This is just the way it is. That's just the way it is, and some things will never change. And she said, well, don't you believe it? She was quite firm, like, oh no, this is my life. I'm not going to wallow in the guilt of feel suffocated and trapped like I'm a slave. There's more to life than what this is, and I don't know where this is heading, but that's not it. So she's very firm with him. So then I call a week later, and she's like, I said, how's it going? She said, well, after I was very firm about how things were going to change, World War I broke out in the home. And then, after about 1 week of that, I called again and I said, how's it going? And she said, well, they finally came to me and they said, okay, you've been taking the lid off of all your emotions, your denial, your repression, all your pent-up unconscious stuff that you just didn't tell us about. You just let it all rip. So we're going to let all of our unconscious stuff rip. And I said, how's it going after 2 weeks? She said, World War II broke out. When the teenagers decided, well, we're going to let all of our unconscious stuff come up. How do we feel? Well, we'll tell you how we feel. David's encouraging people to get in touch with their feelings. Good. So then this went on for a while, and it, as Louise Hay one time said, like when you clean a turkey pan, you got to put the soap and the suds and the water in. It's going to get a lot messier before the turkey pan gets clean.